You failed your last JAMB, you are worried, you seem not to have any hope of actually passing, you feel it is all over. Now, it is not over yet, and I'm assuring you that you can actually improve no matter the kind of grade you had. Whether you had 100, 64, or any kind of grade, you can actually improve. Now, I was in your shoe about 2016, which is about 8 years ago. I was in SS3 at that point. I took my first JAMB. There was this pressure of getting into the university. I did my first JAMB and I had 164. But that's my results on the screen. Now, at this point, I had zero knowledge of how to go about JAMB. In fact, I thought it was the normal thing that we actually did in secondary school that would come out. But then, to my surprise, when I got to the exam, it was a lot different because JAMB is another level on its own, and you have to actually learn some things to be able to pass the JAMB. And that is what I'm going to be showing you in this video. Fast forward to 2017, I did my second JAMB and I had to 221. What made me add to 221 from 164 was not a miracle. I actually put in the work. What actually helped me then was that I was disciplined, I was consistent, and in fact, I was actually hardworking, and I believed in myself that I can actually improve. These are the basic things you need to be able to improve, no matter the kind of score you had. To be able to go from a particular low grade to another level, you have to actually grind and put in the effort. I was able to gain admission into OAU and I was able to graduate one of the best in the class. Now in this video, I'm going to be showing you a solo strategy which is for 2025, which will actually help you to improve your JAMB score. If you are new to this channel, I am Abayomi, and right here on this channel, I drop in tips and strategies that can help you as a student pass your exam exceedingly, learn effectively, and also tips that will help you improve as a student. And if that sounds like something you're interested in, please consider subscribing to my channel right now, and also like the video before I go into the meat of this video, because it's going to be a very long video, so you have to stick with me to the end and actually go along with me in this video. I actually went solo. There was no guide from anybody. Nobody actually motivated me. I actually motivated myself, and I didn't attend any JAMB tutorial, and I was able to improve. So don't let anybody make you think that okay, it is until when you come for their tutorial that you can improve in your JAMB, or when you do some certain things, maybe do expo or some other things that before you can pass. I'm here to tell you that you can actually do exceedingly well in your JAMB, and you don't need to cut corners, do any extra thing. It is just about you. So if you can actually put in the work it requires, you actually improve drastically and you'll be able to get into the university of your choice. I want you to unlearn every other thing that you've known about how to prepare for JAMB, and stick with me on this video, because this is a strategy and a system that I built for myself that actually helped me, and I feel if you actually apply this system to actually help you too, as long as you go through it step by step. The very first thing I would advise you to do, don't neglect the JAMB syllabus. If you are fresh from secondary school and you are taking JAMB for the first time, I will advise you not to neglect the JAMB syllabus, because JAMB syllabus is actually different entirely from WAEC syllabus. It's a bit advanced. Now let me take my subject, for example, economics. What we are taught in economics in secondary school is a whole lot different from what you'll be seeing in JAMB. So you have to be able to familiarize yourself with the syllabus. If it's English, get familiar with the syllabus. If it is any subject, get familiar with the syllabus. Study it step by step. Know what is required of you to study, and do this early as possible. It is very important. That is the first step you need to take. And luckily, JAMB provides syllabus for each student that registered for the first time. So it is very important for you to study those syllabus, because you going for JAMB is the first step you need to take to study independently, because they're actually exposing you to the world of university. And in university, they're not going to tell you what to do and when to do it. So in JAMB, likewise, you have left secondary school when they are supposed to tell you what to read and when to read. But here you have to decide things by yourself. And there are things that are available to you But if you don't take advantage of them, you will lose, you will always get the same result, and you start thinking that there is something supernatural that is actually happening to you, but not knowing that you didn't take the proper step. So do not neglect the JAMB syllabus. It is very important, and that is the first step you can take to pass the JAMB exam. Then after going through the syllabus, I will advise you to get textbooks, relevant textbooks, materials that will help you learn, that has those syllabus, those content of the syllabus. Get those textbooks and start studying them. Now, study them and go through the topic step by step. This is what I actually did. Then when I failed my JAMB, I had 164. Now there was a knowledge gap that I didn't have from secondary school to while I was doing JAMB. So this step, it was actually very difficult for me at that time. I had to actually study some textbook from cover to cover, and I kept grinding and studying. At this point, I had schedules for myself that, okay, I am studying in the morning, I am studying in the afternoon. I had courses that I'll be studying in the morning, I had subjects that I'll be studying in the afternoon. So if you put all this system into place and you study right from now before your JAMB in 2025, and you build up a routine and you pick up these textbooks and you start studying, you are setting out a good foundation for yourself that will help you pass your JAMB in 2025. That is another step you need to take. And you have to be able to get textbooks, you have to be able to get things that, and if you don't understand, you can reach out to people that will explain to you. And in fact, there are a lot of resources online that can help you to actually learn these things. Another step that I took that I want you to take is that set the grades that you wish to get for each subject. Take for example the subjects that I took when I did JAMB was economics, government, mathematics, and English. I set the grades that I wanted for each of these subjects, and I keep looking at them every day. Now this will actually serve as a form of motivation for you, and if you keep looking at it, it will actually push you to be able to improve well, and you keep visualizing it in your brain, the score you want, not only the aggregate score. Have a specific grades you want for each subject. If you write them down and if you keep visualizing it in your brain while you are studying, while you are in the process, to actually put you on the right track. I haven't talked about the preliminary steps that you need to take. I would like to go into the mistakes students make while studying for JAMB, and this is well in the studying process. These are the mistakes students make, and I will not advise you to make such mistake, because this is a major thing that students do, and I will not advise you to do. Now the first thing is that students tend to study past questions only for JAMB without bothering to study the content of each subject matter. Now there are past questions that are available out there, and these past questions are expected for testing yourself after you might have read the content of the book. Not that you are studying the past question first and going for the exam just like that. The past question is just for you to know the structure of the exam, to know what you are supposed to expect in the exam, and to put you on the good standing after you might have read the subject matter, after you might have gotten the textbook and read the subject matter. You don't have to go through the past question first, and that is the major mistake most students make. They don't bother going into the content. They don't bother understanding the content of the book. They just go straight to the past question. And mind you, when you are studying the past question, I know there are some things that you might not understand, and you might say that, okay, the answers are at the back and they are explained there, but then the explanation will not be as deep, as detailed as the one you get from the textbook. So it is important for you to still read from the textbook. A lot of students do it because they are lazy, because they feel, oh, why can't I just study past question and just go like that for the exam? But I'm telling you, it's a disaster. I'm not saying you should not study past question, but go through the content, go through the subject matter. If you are studying physics or chemistry, get the syllabus, get the textbook, study it bit by bit. Way before, it is better you start now. If you keep doing it every day and you have a schedule, and you setting up the routine, by the time your exam is closed, this is when you can now get your past question and test yourself from everything you've read. That's the best way you can go about it, and that is exactly what I did at that point. Because at that time, I got the textbooks, I got the material that I needed. I studied them every day. It was after I finished that I went straight to the past questions. And don't ever make the mistake of thinking that they will repeat past questions verbatimly. This is the wrong impression. Now, this is it. They can repeat topics, they can set questions from the same topic, but that doesn't mean that they will set the same question. And that is why it is important for you to read the textbook first, understand it. Then, no matter how the question comes, you'll be able to tackle it because you've understood the topic, and they can twist it anyhow they like. They can put up distractors in the objective question. So it is important for you to do all these things. It's very important. And another mistake most students make while studying for JAMB, they memorize answers without actually understanding. Now, this is a very wrong thing you should do. You are studying chemistry, you are studying physics, you are studying economics, you are studying mathematics. No matter the subject you are doing for your JAMB, try to understand the concepts instead of memorizing. This also applies to you studying past questions. Now, even after you might have gotten the top content and you've gotten the past question, try to understand the concepts. Do not go straight to the back and try to memorize the answers and you feel that you get it, or they might repeat the same thing in the exam. You are fooling yourself. Study the content, go to the past question, test yourself, understand it instead of memorizing. It's very important. Now, another mistake most students do while studying for JAMB is that going for tutorial without actually doing their own personal study. Now, this is what actually helped me. I feel if you do your own personal study, even without going for tutorial, you are going to pass JAMB very well. But if you think, now, one thing about tutorial, I'm not saying going for tutorial is wrong, but you are going for tutorial to gain understanding, to gain insight, to help in solving obstacles or help in understanding. But when it comes to you actually understanding the concept yourself and getting it into your brain, you have to actually sit yourself down and read yourself. Then after, you can go for tutorial to discuss and get insights. Not that you just keep going for tutorials alone without you sitting down yourself and actually studying. This is a wrong thing and this is a disaster. You should not do that. Now, aside from the mistakes most students make while studying for JAMB, here are additional points that I want you to take note of. Each time you study, try to test yourself while doing so. It is very important to be able to get feedback on what you know and what you don't know. But if you keep assuming that, oh, I know it already and you go for the exam, you will forget. This actually happened to me while I was writing my first JAMB. I was studying price elasticity, I was studying economics. I thought I already knew the formula. Then I didn't test myself. I didn't even get feedback on what I studied. I was just studying it on a normal day, like just rereading it and studying it. Then when I got to the exam and I was trying to recall, I could not recall anything. There was nothing there because I didn't actually test myself to check whether I actually learned it or know it in my brain before going for the test, but before going for the exam. So it's very important that after you might have read the content, after that you might have gone for the past question, test yourself several times, again and again and again. It is very important because that is the only way you can actually be assured of yourself that you actually know what you studied. And another advice that I want you to do, this is something that actually worked for me so much. Now, when I was doing JAMB, I was doing pre-degree alongside into OAU, and the syllabus to pre-degree was so advanced than JAMB. And in fact, when I wrote my JAMB, then JAMB was a lot easy for me because I've exposed myself to other things. Now, what I will advise, if you don't have the opportunity to opt for pre-degree, what I will advise you is to read books that are a bit beyond the scope of JAMB. advanced than JAMB, not below JAMB. Read books that are beyond the scope, or study past questions that a little bit advanced than JAMB on that subject matter that you are studying. This is why I'm saying so. If you expose yourself to all these things, you are expanding your brain and you are exposing yourself to other situations. But you now go back to JAMB, it will seem a lot easy. That's why you see some university students, they have gone through university. Now they'll keep telling you that if they go back to JAMB and study for JAMB again, they will actually blast JAMB. The reason is they've been exposed to complex things, they've been exposed to advanced stuff. So it's very important. It is not bad if you are reading some chemistry textbooks that are for 100 level when preparing for JAMB. That is why it is important to start early, so that you'll be able to explore very well and actually get enough content. Now, when you do this, when you go for JAMB, JAMB is going to be easy peasy because you've studied advanced stuffs. You are not more in the level of JAMB, and that is the best way. If you see some people, they have 300, they have high scores. The reason is they have gone beyond the scope. They have read so wide, they have read so deep that JAMB is just a piece of cake to them. There is actually one thing that I actually did then that actually helped me significantly, and I want you to know this. While you are studying for your JAMB, know the subjects that are your strengths and know the subjects that are your weakness. When I was studying for JAMB, I knew that mathematics was my weakness there. I knew that relates to calculation, and at that time I was not that good in solving mathematics. Now I already knew that okay, if English was something that I can actually read and get my way around it, government was something that I knew that I can actually read, economics was something that I know I can get my way around it, but mathematics was still the problem. What I did then is that I leveraged more on my strengths, because JAMB is just aggregate score. They'll just give you the aggregate score. Now if you leverage more on your strengths and you have high scores in those strengths, it will cover up for your weaknesses and you have high score. That is exactly what I did. So know your standing in all the subjects, and if you know this is your strength, study it so much that you are going to have very high score, like 70, 80 something. And I'm not saying you should not study your weakness. Study it and try your best. At the end of the day, you see the effects on the scores. You discover that the ones that you put more strength and the one that you are leveraging on your strength will push up the aggregates and you have a good score. So if you got value from what I'm saying on this video, please like the video and also subscribe to the channel. Now if you want to have a one-on-one chat with me on how now you can pass your JAMB exceedingly, you can kindly click the link in the bio and send a direct message to me on WhatsApp. I will reply your messages and we can talk better than this. So you can check out this video, how exactly you can understand instead of memorizing whatever you read, because this is the only way you can actually know what you are reading for your JAMB, instead of falling into the trap of memorizing your answers instead of understanding. So you can check out that video. It will actually help you, because I spoke about a lot of strategies that you can apply. So thank you so much for watching, and see you on the next video.